Yes, we are back again. We're back again, and I'm super excited this morning. I don't know whether it's morning or afternoon. Yeah, it's already afternoon. I'm super excited to be joined by a man that I respect so much. He wears so many hats. He's a brother. He's a mentor. He's a leader. He's all in one, and I don't know whether if I call him JP, you guys think, Japres, the height is the same, but they're not, it's not JP. Let me welcome, one of the most international guys I've ever met in my life. Let me welcome Mr. John Paul. Say.
My brother, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm right, can't complain.
How was the trip from London?
Very well, very well.
Yeah, you know, I had to pressure you and say, you need to be on this show. You need to be on this. We need to just chat and chill. I know we're always running around. UK doesn't give you space to breathe. Eh?
No.
You don't breathe. In this country, you need to be up north, down south, central London.
Yeah.
But
whatever it takes.
I finally got you. The last time we had so many issues. So what's your take now on electric cars? You going back to your Mazda 323?
Electric cars, I don't think they like me. You see, everybody likes technology. You need to ask if the technology likes me. It's like,
so you think it's technology that doesn't like?
I'm convinced because the amount of trouble I had just to come here, considering I'm trying to come here.
And where do you charge those things? Where do you charge them?
Well, I got the electric car.
Yes.
I thought it was hybrid. So I saw the dashboard. This is a brand new car. And I said, okay, fine. It says the battery, 30%.
So it's not hybrid. So when it's hybrid, that's when you have fuel and battery. So that one is full.
This one I only found out when this thing is saying, like the phone.
Yes. And then it says 7%.
Then he's saying danger, 1-2%. So when I was supposed to come, I found a hotel, a Holiday Inn. Something told me if it's a hotel,
then they
must have.
So
I asked the man. I said, "Listen, I need to charge this." When I got to the thing,
yes,
there are like 4 different charging things, and then I opened this hatch. There are also 2 sockets on one car. So I thought to myself, "Look,
I don't know whether so it's technology and embracing it is a bit difficult, but I think we're so used to our diesel and petrol. When that gauge goes empty, you need to refuel. You need to look for your services, refuel. But it's good to have you here, and you've been here for long. When did you come? Approximately.
I've been here 25 years, 26 years, 25, 26 years.
I was still in high school then. I was still
25 or 26 years I've been in London. I've never lived anywhere else. Based in London, worked in London. I've tried to leave London, but again, London won't let me leave. So
the worst thing about London is driving.
Yeah.
But I remember the last time we were in London, you drive it ease. You I think, so what makes you feel relaxed when you're driving in London? And yet when I drive from Oxford to London, I'm like, where are the cameras?
When I came to this country, I had a car waiting here.
A car?
A car. There was a car for me. So let's say today's Friday.
Yes.
I arrived on a Thursday. And my car was waiting. So I never got a chance to use. The only public transport I used was from Gatwick
to the car.
And I thought, this is interesting. But then when I got the car, I thought, no. Remember, 20-something years ago, traffic, there was no ULEZ, there was no...
So ULEZ is something new?
It's new. It's just a few years old. So there are no ULEZ. We didn't have all these cameras and this and that, and so it was more relaxed. So I took it upon myself because I like traveling. I decided to go. The weekend I arrived was the Tour de France, and I didn't know.
So it was,
or London Marathon, or one of them. Anyway,
so it was pegged.
I didn't know. I didn't know. So I drove into. I remember getting into Trafalgar Square.
Yes,
and there are people everywhere. So I got stuck. It took me 5 hours to drive out. So that's how I became a good driver. I thought I've suffered
enough. I suffered enough on my first day. And then we're talking of odors and emissions and whatnot. Is it something that you think we need to also introduce back home? Like you go home, there's a car that's just going smoking. You always say it's smoking.
20 Everest.
Smoking 20 Everest. Is it something we can introduce in our cities? Is it something that as Zimbabweans we can embrace and say we want to conserve our environment, we want to protect the ozone layer and everything, and then put things like ULEZ and people pay when they're using cars, because the government has done, they put a ban on cars that are 10 years older, so you can't bring in a car that's 10 years older. Also trying to protect the environment and everything. Do you think we can introduce things like Ules in Zim?
I think we can introduce a levy, because also remember, we
still have got big buses, you know, my Dafu, my AV, they're still getting into town, in and out.
So I think we look after the wildlife, we protect the environment, we do everything all for Zimbabwe. It doesn't make sense to me to protect and preserve everything and not have the people who is going to enjoy it. So we look after them. So in that way, I think there are many people who have cars unnecessarily. We all have at least minimum 2 cars. Not everybody, but I'm saying is some of the sizes of the engines, why not? If you can afford, do you really need the vehicle? So you can pay some kind of levy which will go into the maintenance of the roads and stuff, because we have a lot of very, very resourceful and very successful Zimbabweans who can create our own technology. We can do so many things. We are embracing solar, and I think from what I saw in March, we are great.
Oh, you were in Zim in March?
Yeah, I'm seeing.
How was your stay there?
Very, very. I love Zimbabwe. I love everything Zimbabwe.
So for someone who doesn't know you, who is JP? Who is Jean Paul? So people say Jean Paul and says I'm Jean Paul. And
I don't.
Where did you grow up?
Mutare, born and bred. All family from Mutare. I love
Mutare. Mama V.
Sawira.
You know Mama V.
Mama V from Pocha. Mama V. Everybody. Mutare, we are family. I'm not saying everybody, not family. We are family.
You're segregating us from
Harare. No, what I'm saying is, I don't know about Harare. I didn't grow up. I'm saying Mutare.
You one people.
We are one people. So when I see Mama V, when I see Shasha.
Shasha, the Amapiano.
Yes. Diamond Boys. So, as someone.
You know Diamond Boys?
They're from Mutare.
You know Diamond Boys?
Family. Family.
Those guys were good.
Did you not see
I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know whether they have got projects or anything, but Diamond Boys, they were good.
They're here. They relocated.
Really?
Relocated last year. Pretty much same time as you.
Oh,
so
did you I need to connect with them. I need to connect with them.
Yes,
I need to connect with them.
They got work in the back, by the way. They are working on something.
So, a lot has been said about you. Not negative. Good. You know, every time you go on a podcast and people say, a lot has been said about you. And what did they say about me? A lot of good things have been said about you. From being a young guy coming from Mutare, working with people like Fanyana Dube. Can you give us an experience of how you worked with Fanyana Dube?
Remember, I was a kid. So when I grew up, my family are military. Like my dad's military and the other side of the church. Yeah, so my dad served, all the brothers served. So my dad did full military service, 22 years full military service. So most of the where I lived, their parents were, their dads were also in the army.
All right.
So as a result, I had politicians, military people, and church people. My grandmother was into the church. My mom's into the church. So it's literally down the middle. So every weekend, like my whole childhood, I had Fanyana Dube was my neighbor.
Oh,
he was my neighbor. On the left, I had Seva Kasukuwere, which is a respectable man.
Oh,
so these are my neighbors. People don't know. I didn't work with Fanyana Dube. Fanyana Dube's son Victor from Sourcetown was my best friend, and because Fanyana is blind, I used to spend a lot of time with him. And because I didn't know at the time, Edgar Tekere from Mutare, Edgar Tekere was my mentor.
Oh,
so because we're kids. So when he was practicing, like,
the trombone and
yeah. So we used to sit at the front because we're kids. So we used to sit at the front, and I didn't realize this man, this powerful politician, he used to sit there. He never really spoke, but when he spoke, he's always encouragement. So I didn't know my upbringing. I only knew later on that it was mentorship. I had Edgar Tekere
on the side, on the other side.
I had Xavier, so I used to go if it's watching him rehearse, and that's why I learned to wear the tuxedo. I used to, because from Fanyana Dube, that's why the first person I ever saw
wearing a tuxedo.
And so when he used to go and he used to play the jazz, I saw he was one of the best dressed people, as well as Comrade Edgar Tekere. I've never seen
him looking shabby and
very, very on point, very proud Zimbabweans, very, very talented, and as a result. And that's how I'm doing what I'm doing. I
think you had a great childhood because having those three surrounding you. I have so much respect for Dr. Edgar Tegere. They're the founding fathers of Zimbabwe from the liberation struggle. But then, boom, you get into entertainment. Then how did entertainment find you? Did it find you when you were still in Zim, or it's something that you...
It found me in Zim.
Yes.
So this is what I never knew. For me, it was normal.
It was just sound check.
Sound check. So for me, music is normal. To have every weekend, I have soldiers who they call it the boozers.
Yes.
So they used to play football, but a little bit tipsy, and they would show skills. So right. So I saw a lot of respect. And one thing I saw from music and politicians and people who praise God, whether they're atheist or not, I realized music was the one thing
that unites,
that didn't have any
issue. It doesn't have barriers.
Different people serving.
You go to Muslims, they sing, and you go to Christians, they sing. You go to Buddha, so music just unites us.
I didn't realize, and obviously when I was growing up, it wasn't just Fanya Najube. Usingube, Chiwoniso Marare. Mutare is a music hub. Most of the bus companies from Mutare. So the transport system, obviously, Mutare was always... You always had Andy Brown, Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi. Every single artist used to come to Mutare. And you can see it starting you can see it happening again. The arts in Mutare were big. So I never realized that Comrade Edgar Tekere was the man who personally invited Bob Marley to come and sing in 1980.
What? I
only found out 10 years ago. I didn't realize the relevance of
all these years. People claim that the late our president was the fan to Bob Marley.
No, Comrade Edgar Tegere was the one that wrote the letter. He personally invited, and so the point is, he was a music promoter, and so that's why it would make sense. He would pluck musicians like Fanya Najube to bring him because he liked him, and then that's how we have also. Like the West Coast players. We have Western Chikanya here, who I saw playing at the Dunstable Barbecue. I said, what's this guy from Mutare? They started Digital 2000. I used to watch them dance, rehearse. So I've got people who are DJing. I've got bands, all kinds of music. So wherever I went was just music because my parents didn't allow me to go many places.
And so you were just stuck with music. And the good part about it is you've been doing great here in the UK, and you're also one of the few people that has interacted and met the Queen. Man, what an honor and privilege.
Yeah.
Like, how was it? What event was it? What were you doing there? As a Zimbabwean, meeting the Queen.
Yeah, so the Queen. So now I'm here. Yeah. I'm doing the work again. People have called upon me to look at events, and now. The reason I'm into fashion, I like all things fashion, all things music. Yes. So that's how I met the Queen.
Okay, so you're doing
to London Fashion Week. She came to London Fashion Week and with Anne Wintour, Dame Anne Wintour. So she came, and the Queen was there. And I remember the MI5 and MI6 agents because to try and take pictures of the Queen. I mean, this is, and so it's unusual for the Queen, Her Majesty, to come to. So obviously the British Fashion Council run London Fashion Week.
Yes.
And so the Queen, British fashion is very, very, very important in the architecture here. And British fashion brings a lot of revenue. I didn't realize. So I'm realizing the power of fashion.
Yeah.
And with fashion, there's music. So not just Her Majesty, the Queen. You have David Beckham, who's the ambassador for London Fashion Week.
Really?
Yes. So it's you get to meet everybody in fashion, and they also like certain music. So we get to, again, just like in Mutare.
Right. So you spoke about revenue. You spoke about revenue coming from fashion, and we all know how also arts, entertainment brings revenue. And when we go back home, when we go back to Zim, we see there has been a deterioration of fashion events. Like there's not been more fashion events, and if they're there, they're done in a small space where it's not really big. But way back, the days of Britta Marcella Tulini, the pageants, the beauty pageant, the museum, the whatnot, it used to be a big thing. What do you think is lacking in the fashion and the entertainment industry of Zimbabwe?
I think most importantly, I know for a fact that they want the same standard.
Okay.
As a Zimbabwean, I know that whatever you're referring to here, the average Zimbabwean, they want that level. Now, you have to look at the means. You have to look at the way you also pay the models. You cannot keep telling models, oh, we're going to do this for exposure. You need outfits, you need designers.
Have you ever worked for exposure in your life?
I've done a lot of helping people.
I'm just saying, if anyone come to you and say, yeah, you see, Jerry, what I'm doing is I'm giving you exposure.
No, it doesn't work. They can't expose me to anything because I've been already exposed my whole life. I mean, for somebody to come and say...
But it's a statement that we as Zimbabweans who like to abuse, and when we don't want to pay someone, most people will say, we're trying to give them exposure and abuse. But coming to you personally, what makes you a proud Zimbabwean?
What makes me a proud Zimbabwean is that I'm able to sustain and go back and give what was given to me. I can't take credit for anything because when I look back, when somebody asks me, there's no way I can sit here and say, oh, this is my doing. It is a foundation. The foundation of what I do is from Zimbabwe. If I wasn't brought up in Mutare around the environment I'm saying, I would have never been able to implement the same things here. So I'm able to have a career. I'm able to help people in career, to mentor people. So what makes me a proud Zimbabwean is I'm able to use that back, the initial, I didn't realize the value of what I was given, the mentorship. So it makes me very proud that I can be something and help other people be something and show. I'm from a small town in Mutare.
Well, no, it's no longer small. That place is now big.
Right.
Because diamonds, you the diamond people. Mutare is the Ngoda place.
I don't have diamonds.
And coming to Zimfest, you one of the guys that make sure that it's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And it being a big thing, do you think it's doing justice to entertain Zimbabweans? And do you think there's need for extra? Is there anything that's lacking? Is there anything that needs to be added or subtracted on Zimfest?
Well, the Zimfest.
And how many years has this been running before we?
25 years.
Really?
The Zimfest is 25 years. The Zimfest, I got to let you know, the Zimfest is here to stay. We're here for the long run.
It's not going anywhere.
And it hasn't gone in a quarter century. Many have come. There are a lot of fly-by-night promising a lot of things. But
there's always been people saying, we're starting our own festival. Do you even have to start a festival? And Zimbabwe now are abusing the word festival.
Right. So the Zimfest, everything about the Zimfest is to give a platform, is to give back. So when you ask, is there room for improvement? Yes. We want to give the best experience. We want to give, this remains an inclusive platform for everybody. And the Zimfest keeps growing because we keep growing with the people. So there are many brands growing, there are many established brands right now who started off at the Zimfest. Same with artists, we give people a platform. And when you look at the amount of years I've been involved with the Zimfest, it's easy to look now and say, oh, great, the Zimfest. But it's important to look where it's come from. The Zimfest, 25 years at the Zimfest, and every single fan, sponsor, anybody who's helped volunteer, the Zimfest is credit to everybody. It's too big for anybody to take credit. Yes.
And say, I run it, I own Zimfest, I do this, because it's a lot of people involved. And now in that involvement, what's the criteria of choosing the artist? Like if it's 25 years and now I think maybe Roy and Royce maybe would have come and performed here. Who else? I know Knox would definitely have performed. Yeah. I'm trying to go back 25 years and see who was what during those days. Yeah. Who was what 25 years ago? Do you remember the first acts of Zimfest? Do you remember some of the first acts?
Vaguely. But what I do remember, what is important, is the trajectory and progression of the artists. It's not necessarily who was on the lineup. It's when you look at different artists, male, female, different parts.
Because it doesn't just do Zim. Now it has gone beyond Zim borders, and because whatever is entertaining, it brings. So the criteria, how do we?
Fan input. The Zimfest, when the fans come to pay money to see artists. It doesn't make sense for us to just choose
and say and impose and say
to make it very fair for everybody. We listen to the fans. You already know our fan base starts off in Zimbabwe, so we have a lot of talented people. We have a lot of artists that have been to the Zimfest. Some haven't been. We look at what the fans are saying. We urge them to submit their suggestions, Zimfest has a committee, and it's managed by Redcliffe Management, who have managed the Zimfest, who do obviously a great job. We look at everything. There's a team. We don't just say, "Oh, this one." Yeah, I mean, we all have favorites, but it's for the fans.
If it was me,
it's not.
I'm saying, I'm saying, if it was in our hands.
No, yeah, but we give the same way we give a platform to artists. We also give the fans control of saying, "Look, we can't bring everybody." As you were saying, why don't we get more acts? They cost a fortune.
No. I was not worried about more acts. I think we have enough acts, because also remember the show doesn't go overnight like we used to have Magala Zimbabwe, where you have a gala that goes from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning. This one ends 11. So I think the lineups are proper and cool. And we're talking about the fans. So now we have other artists that are hot. I know you're not speaking on behalf of Zimfest. You're speaking as JP now. JP, we have other artists that are not okay. I don't want to put the word hot. We have other artists that do good genres, good music. I'll give you names like Mwenje Matola. If you know Mwenje Matola, there's a young girl coming up called Nasibo. She does mbira like John Somaraire. But these people are not more commercial. You know what I mean? You've been in the industry. They're not commercial. They don't make the noise necessary. You know, you can't compare Silent Killer today. We say Silent Killer. Every young and old knows Silent Killer. We say Winky D, Japreza. Are we gonna see these guys coming to Zimfest as well? Because they do good music. They do Mbeu, Mwenje, these guys that do good music but have got not that popularity. Are we going to see them coming?
You are going to see them. I can't promise, because
and I want you to speak. Do you think they need a platform to be seen?
I would urge them, first of all. Remember, there are many, many talented people out there. We have to give. This is what I went back. The experience that I have from being here and seeing from this side, looking on, seeing what is lacking. By no doubt, we know we have talent. We need to educate the artists. Not that they don't know, but we need to let them brush up and say, look, your online presence, post links, you must have your EPKs ready. So if you wanted to put forward you can put forward any artist. We welcome anybody to put in suggestions. We have a look. We look at, we do not disregard anybody. We have a look, and I'm saying, have a look. Make sure your social media is on point, such that when we are having a look, we can see, okay,
reference
this artist. This is what you've done recently. It must have chronological order, such that when we are looking at it, must be well packaged, so that we also give you a good chance when you get here to connect with your fan base. And remember, we also use demographics. If an artist is great in Zimbabwe, we would want to bring here and make sure they have got their fan base, because
it's useless. It's useless to bring someone and then 5 people are knowing the song out of 200,000 people. That'll be Zimfest. Only 6 are singing along.
20 something thousand. 200,000 is a lot. 20 something
it's okay. It's still
I'm saying that's exactly it. So we the artist aftercare, we have to also think about them as well. It's not just a question. There are a lot of things that are going to, hence the Zimfest take their time to have a look and see what is this. You already know, as you've mentioned, certain artists have a huge fan base, but we have a look and see. We continue to be inclusive, but we also go through this thorough process.
I saw before he passed away, Gary Mapanzure was one of the guys that was on the lineup, and he was good. May his soul rest in peace. When did you know his music by then?
I knew Gary's. I remember the African Sushi.
Oh,
it didn't make sense to me. What is African sushi? Because me, I'm not a really big fan of sushi, but I'm a fan of
sushi is something else when it comes to Africa. Your sushi.
So that's what I'm thinking. Because my daughters like sushi, and I thought African sushi. I've been in a lot of countries in Africa. I never seen Africans, but I know he was very talented.
And you, whenever we meet, you say that guy had a gift.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done? I just chose Gary out of all we lost a lot of artists, but I just chose Gary. What should be done about Gary Mapanzure, the family, the music, the legacy, and everything? Recommendation.
Long live Gary Mapanzure. His legacy is worth keeping. I think he may not be with us physically, but I can tell you, he's never left here. He's what he has done, and that he was a unique individual, very, very talented. He was a pastor, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a pastor as well. Yes.
Many don't know that. So that's what I like about Gary. I've had a chance to meet his sister recently, and I want to make sure to let you know that I want to be involved in keeping Gary Mapanzire's legacy alive. His life is a testimony to people, and I think it breaks my heart, and that's why this is very important. He was very, very young, and so my thing when it comes to Gary Mapanzire, I want to make sure that everybody keeps his legacy. Let's remember, it's been a year. It's just gone a year since we lost Gary.
Yes, I think it was around this time as well. So
yes, so I would like to let everybody know that we will never forget. And yes,
JP, before I let you go, the competition in Zimbabwe music, there's a lot of competition now. Back then there used to be competition. Remember, we used to have Simon Chimbetu there, Leonard Dembo there, and whatnot. Is it a healthy competition? Are they making real good music, these young guys that are coming? Is the competition healthy? Because Dembo versus Chimbetu, and it was healthy. They would create albums that would live timelessly.
I think we must not underestimate the talent that we have, irrespective of age.
Yes.
So what happens is most of the talent we had was sort of, they were much more mature. We have a young talent, and the attitude is changing. These are all parents, responsible parents. Most of these are people look at their age and they look at
they forget that these guys
they're serious about the family.
Yes.
They're very stable. They have stable support systems. I genuinely think the competition that we have, and as I get to meet the artists one-on-one, I go to their homes and everything, and I can tell you they are very conscious about the music they put out. I'm very, very I advise people to bring out music that is not detrimental to the people that you're listening to. It must help. And you're talking about greats. The reason why we refer them to them is because the music has been a penultimate moment for us. There's such a music that if I play this music by Simon Chimbetu or Leonard Dembo, there's something about that song that has done something in you. And it gives you a strength. Yes, it is something that everybody has that song. If you go to the gym, there's certain music you can't listen to, make you fall asleep.
That's true.
So music is a healer, and also very powerful. They are putting good music out there. They're changing, as I said before, because we need to make sure that the music lives for longer. And I genuinely think, look out for the talent. We have incredible talent, and it's healthy. Competition is healthy as long as we don't create a situation where we're saying this one is better than that one. No. They're all unique.
When we say comic pastor is good, it's good there.
I can't say sitting here, comic pastor, this guy is better than you. What is this?
And JP, thank you so much for visiting us. A lot of things are happening, and I would have touched a lot of things as we round it up. Parenting in the UK, has it been difficult?
Parenting is very difficult because obviously, remember, people carry their mindsets with them. The problem, you can never change anything in mindset. So you can leave your country, like we've left to come here. The problem is there are certain things that we're going to have to get rid of. Just we wave goodbye to friends and stuff when we come here.
Yes.
It's not goodbye forever, but there are certain things that you're going to have to wave goodbye.
And say, we used to do this back home, but when you are here, it's not the same.
This terrible thing of the spirit of yesterday. Don't hold on to yesterday, apart from yesterday. So this spirit of yesterday, I'm a parent, right? I know how I was brought up.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell my daughters to join the military because I didn't join the military just because my dad was in the military. So we need to listen to children. This thing about elders, there are a lot of old people and mature people that are responsible for a lot of pain in the world today by giving outdated information. Oh, I was married to your granddad for 56 years. But if you ask them...
And we're walking on foot too.
How long were you happy for? 3 weeks. So cultural things, we must focus on happiness, real happiness. It is not my responsibility. I can never know what is good for my child, what they want to do. All I want to encourage them.
Unless you communicate with them.
Yes, communicate with
them.
Listen to them. We listen to what age was Michael Jackson when he started? Were people not listening to him?
Yes.
So when we look at the pride thing, the African pride thing, you must go to university. It doesn't matter.
And the child wants to play football, and football makes someone a millionaire in 2 weeks.
So this is what creates poverty is the mindset. Poverty is a disease. Poverty is a consequence. Poverty is a disease. Many people don't know. Poverty is a consequence. And the problem with the mentality of poverty is because of lack of knowledge leads to that, and unproductivity leads to poverty. It's a consequence. So when you are preaching to children, just because you're a doctor or something, we have to look and say, you know what? You've worked hard, mom and dad. It's not a competition. They don't have to. Your child does not want to be a doctor. If they want to be, support them. If they want to kick a football, you look at it and say, you know what? The child is happy. They're going to help us. You might be a doctor, you might be a businessman, but you're much older. But your child can be able to look after and still run their own career. So we must not kill our children's dreams by enforcing and suffocating them with this parenting mentality. We look around here in this country.
Which is very outdated.
Many children are actually being protected because of certain behaviors that are not acceptable here. So it's a good thing when you come here. When you come over here, remember, you come here to integrate. The whole point of coming here as an immigrant is to integrate. And the problem, where problems start, is these old beliefs, ancient beliefs that do not work. You cannot be, there's certain medication they used to use back in the day.
And then now, they've been
you
taken
can just
off.
take a pill. You don't have to go around chewing, this, that, and the other. So I'm saying is, everything else evolves. We talked about electric cars.
Yes.
We talked about the evolution of the arts.
Movement of time.
But look at it this way. Look at the mentality. The mindset is a problem. Do you know, when a hurricane comes, birds, fish, they run away.
They
The
know.
only thing that stays is the human being.
JP, we have the whole day. We'll be here for the whole day. And thank you so much once again for gracing this podcast. And I'd like to say a big shout out to Remitly. The easiest, the fastest way to send money to Zimbabwe. And I want you to know that you can use Remitly. And we have one international brand ambassador of Remitly in the house. Man, thank you so much for blessing us. And thank you so much for being with us. Hope to call you again. Because we didn't finish things. We didn't talk about
have to come back
men doing because we talk about Zimbabwe. Think I be can watch guys.
Don't say it. Don't say it. I have been doing my own thing.
JP, thank you so much.
Thank you. Great show. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.